3:06, I think now. I had a phone call from Michelle today, and she was filling me in with the quotes that we've got back from the gardeners. It was Airway, Bennett's, and Dovetail. These are the three companies. Airway was 2,300. Bennett's was 3,000. Dovetail was almost 4,000. I've said, well, the cheapest one is the cheapest one. And then basically she was mentioning about some of the other things that when I walked around with that, she was saying that this could be something that could be done, but we'd have to get a quote for that. She was providing the added quotes, but in the end, guys, after sort of speaking and reading emails back from people after the video I did before this one, everyone seems to be on the general consensus that the sort of areas that are maintained on the estate do not sort of reflect everyone. So there'll be people at the front who feel like, well, we definitely don't see any of that stuff, so I don't want to be paying any extra, and others on other sides. And like I said, I fully understand that. So in the end, I've just made one sort of blanket call and said, like, look, anything extra, just leave it be, right, and stuff. So with that then, which really only really affects area D, which is up over by me. So I guess our side will see it the most, or not, if you will. But basically, area D is kind of split in two. The front half of it looks quite nice. That it's all got bushes and bark and stuff like this. But if you go further back, there's plenty of trees, but obviously they're not going to be up and flourishing tree for probably not the next 10-15 years. But it's stony, bricky. It's a sight. You would never want anyone to see that. But the added quote was to get that covered up with bark, and then there's like a little area as well which they were going to put some limestone on. I've just called to say to just leave it. I went at the end of the day. People, I think they don't want to pay any more than what they have to, because, and I said to her that just basically in general, the general gist of this is that our gardening contract, our maintenance, it's not great. If we had a nice, I said if we still had the whether we're going to build that sort of play area for the kids down by the apartments, and that was meant to be a nice area with all a pond and everything like that, I think everyone would have been more inclined. But I think at the minute everyone's just like, you know what, it's nothing. So just, I want to pay as little to nothing for it as possible. So then that leaves it at about 2,300. Now, like I said, guys, and this was the thing that I said, and I truly believe was always going to happen, irregardless. But from that, our bills have gone up, right? I truly believe that this was going to happen year on year, and it is going to happen year on year. The only added insult to injury is that if we didn't raise any concerns, it would have been going up, and we would not have had the areas maintained. So like area A, which is when you first drive up Spring Lane, that big bushed area at the very start of the estate, that was never going to get maintained, that was never going to get done, but we would have been paying for it. And I truly believe that just year on year it would have just got slots upped and upped and upped. Now, I've done the maths on it, and it seems from 2,300 is what they're saying the general garden and maintenance is. So basically to kind of keep it at the same level now, but area A at the start of the estate will get cut down, that jungle area will look basically better. And then also at the back of the apartments, they have like this, there's like a stream running at the back, and there's loads of like another jungle area back there that's going to get done as well. But those two areas are being done twice a year. That's all that's going to be done. So, but it's gone up. She's saying that, like, she was saying that the contract wasn't done right in the first place, and we was already in a deficit and all this type of thing. So my maths on it is basically just from the general maintenance, the gardening contract, sorry, it will be about a tenner extra. Now, with regards to sort of this is where sort of my own opinion sort of slash issue was always going to be. I truly believe this was going to happen. Now, that's just £10 for the gardening contract. Like, you know, we've all got to not forget that there were all other costs on there. There was the maintenance, like the account maintenance fees and the public liability fees. That it was like, you know what, really, for us to address this whole account, we need to get in there with a fine-tooth comb. But it was the gardening contract that we were getting the most response. But for us to try get into, okay, questioning their management fees and the accountancy fees and the public liability, building insurance fees, that was going to be something where the Residents Association needed to happen, or we sought, but obviously it couldn't, so we had to seek outside professional help. That was what was going to have to happen. So I would assume if the gardening maintenance is going up, they're going to probably try now say that the accountancy and their management fees and this is all going to go up. Now, obviously we'll get a breakdown of what goes up, but we had a breakdown this year and it didn't make anyone feel any happier. So this was was what my worry was, guys, that we were all, because I did that unanimous vote that, look, if everyone wants to still go ahead but it's going to be seeking outside help, it kind of needs to be unanimous, because I don't want the half of the estate kind of blaming the other half of the estate for things being how it is and stuff like that. And a lot of people did want it to go ahead, but a lot of people didn't. But this is the sort of worry that I've kind of got now, that for the sake of us, say, trying to get a quote from a solicitor or a surveyor and whatnot, and even trying to pursue it, I don't know, let's say it was what everyone was fearing, £3,000 for an accountant to try take on our situation or whatever. I personally think it would have worked out. You know, it may have been an extra how much this year one time, but then it gives us clarity for the following years, that we were going to just be, okay, that's all we pay, everything's been haggled down, everything is correct, we know we're not paying over and above the odds for anything. Whereas now, I truly feel like it's still going to be grey, and we're going probably not this next year, but maybe if you add up for the next 7 years, if you add up what we've all paid extra, like over the sort of years, it will be like if we'd probably either tried to put even half of that into a pot, we could have maybe got somewhere with it. Now, yes, technically we could have done that and still fallen on deaf ears, so this was always going to be the problem. But yeah, that's sort of where I stand with it. To the point, I do say, I understand that people may just be kind of fed up with it, even fed up with my videos now. But I say we look at it in a couple of years' time, and if it is like, you know what, we're just paying more and more, and they're adding this in and they're adding that in, my head would say, look, guys, I say we just get someone, talk to them, get a quote from them, what there would be for them to kind of act on behalf of us, and see if we can get this account properly assessed. So that's just something to put a pin in. 2020, guys, just look at your bills. Everyone keep your documentation, so you know, don't be this person who just pays your bill and throws it away because you won't know if it's worthwhile or not. But yeah, so like I said, it's going up, and for myself, guys, what I'm doing, everyone's paid about £93 a year, it's supposed to be. Now, I know I've paid more than other neighbours. I paid about, I want to say, 185. I know some neighbours have paid less than that, which is fine, but that's still leading on to my whole that this account just isn't done correct. When I've addressed this with Michelle again, she's still saying, no, everyone's paid the fine. So you haven't physically. I've looked at this person's, I've looked at this, I said I can send them, I said I can send her the details, but then she kind of bats back the whole, we're not a residents association, and it's playing on the whole, I have no legal sort of backing here, or not even legal, but like official backing, I'm just a man speaking, and that's what she's sort of playing off. Like again today, you know, because then with these added quotes that I said, oh, you can get them, they're going to do no harm to get an extra quote to make the estate look a bit better. she's come to me with them and said it was going to be an extra how much more on top of the 2,300 general maintenance contract of the gardening. She was trying to say, look, yeah, like I think you should have it done. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead with it. And I was like, nah, Michelle, leave it. No one wants it, like, and stuff. And she's saying, well, basically, you know, we're acting on behalf of the freeholder, so if they want it doing, then it needs to be done. And I was like, okay, Michelle, but once again, I come back to this, who is the freeholder? And this is the part where she always trips up, stuttering like a person who's been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. It's just stuttering. Well, Taylor Wimpey is this, but it's come on to us, and from what I know, I'd have to double check it, but it's CP Bigwood. And I was like, but aren't you CP Bigwood? Like SDL and CP Bigwood, you've merged, haven't you? You're one company, or and this is what I'm just trying to say. But even though I'm catching her out, I can catch her out, you can catch her out, but it's not going to do anything. She's still going to do the waffling talk. If a solicitor caught her out, then she would have to answer it properly. She doesn't never answer it properly. So this is what I mean, guys. Basically, leaving a lot of questions up, open for interpretation, which is leaving the account always open for interpretation. So, you know, I understand that most people may just be like, you know what, I can't be arsed with this anymore, just I'll pay. That's fine, guys, I understand. But I do think we all should assess it maybe in, you know, 2020, if everyone's still around, not moved on. And if it is just getting out of hand, I just don't see what we might as well just take some of that money, chuck it towards getting someone official who knows what they're talking about. We can give them all this information, and we can try to talk with them. Like, yeah, it won't be done in a day. It's going to require us going there, and maybe me with a couple of residents. I understand that's all the headache. But, you know, like I said, guys, I'm happy to take lead on most things. But, you know, I don't want to upset certain parts of the estate and other parts of the estate, you know, that want to do it. So, but yeah, guys, so for me, at the minute, officially, you're meant to be paying about £93 a year. Add on, just from the gardening contract, add on an extra £10 for next year. But for me, guys, just myself, in the terms of worst case scenarios, that when I get that bill, I'm just not going to be livid or feel caught out. My head is expecting next year, I'm going to say about 150 to 180. Now, and yeah, so and that's just what I would probably advise to anyone else. Now I know it's not just easy to just be like, 150 to 180. I'm not saying that, but just prep your mind for it. You know, start saving now or whatever. But that's just what I'm doing now, because it's, well, like I said, guys, if you can hear these phone conversations I'm having with that, it's just shrouded in that whole, you're lying to me, you're bone-faced lying to me right now, and you know it, because I'm questioning you and you're not saying the truth. But I can't get anything official out of her, because she has the legal standing of, I don't need to give you nothing. You know, you're not a residents association, you're not a solicitor, you're not a lawyer, you're not a surveyor, you know what I mean, nothing. So this was always going to be the issue. So but yeah, I was just giving everyone a heads up on that again, guys. And if anyone has any questions or anything like that, you know what to do, email and go from there. Alright, bye.